Hello to our guests. I'm Alex, your host from SiteGround, the website hosting service provider that helps you grow. Today we'll talk about web sustainability. Joining us are Nora Ferreiros, a responsible user experience and user interface designer. Hi, Nora.
Hello.
Hello. Ari Statopoulos, a web developer and accessibility and sustainability evangelist. Ari, hello.
Hello there.
Marketa Benisek, a digital sustainability lead at Whole Grain Digital, which I believe that we're just waiting on, but we'll move on for now. We've got a lot of interesting questions to cover. We'll start with the way your website performance impacts carbon emissions, and our experts will share some useful tips and tools to help you measure and reduce them. Make sure you listen in and follow SiteGround on Twitter, where we'll share the questions and highlights live. Let's kick off with the first question. How do websites contribute to carbon emissions? And I can start first on that one. In short, the faster the website, the less server resources it uses, which is also good for the environment because it saves energy. Do you agree?
Yeah,
Go ahead. Go ahead, Nora. Yeah.
Okay. I was
Absolutely.
waiting if
Absolutely.
somebody
Go ahead.
else wanted to say something. Yeah, for sure. I'm absolutely agree with you have told. But I don't know. As a designer, I'm not quite into the performance part. I'm just like more in the planning part for making things simple. So you spend waste less data in your website. And I wanted to make like a reflection I had once. The first time I realized how my work impacts in creating websites, but it was the day I was in a welcome talk and and the speaker talked something as basics as the internet needs energy power for work, how much energy we need to the internet to make websites working. And I was like with this clown face moment that I never thought before about this. So yeah, you have to think any bit of information you put in a website, every pixel, every word you put, every line code will need energy to go on. So I think it's important to think about this before thinking in performance, is what you are going to put there, and being aware and decisions taking that into account, the energy you need to give to the people the information you want them to consume, to interact with. So yeah, in conclusion, is more information to put in your website, more energy you need, so more carbon emissions you will consume and you will contribute to. That's it.
Okay, thank you for that answer, Nora. Now, Ari, we're gonna head over to you. Let us know what you think about this.
It's not just the host that burns fuel, it's every step on the chain. We have the server farm, we have my internet service provider, which is between the server farm and me. And then it's also my own device where I consume the content. Every step in that chain consumes electricity, and the simpler we make websites, the more performant we make them, better for everyone. We can lower carbon emissions. But it's not just hosts, it's every step on the chain that has an impact.
Okay, Ari, that's perfect. That was amazing, you guys. Okay, now let's head over to question number 2. What are some tools that website owners can use to measure their website carbon footprint? Nora, let's head over to you.
Okay. I wanted here to be honest because I'm not a great fan of using a lot of tools, because I personally easily get obsessed about metrics. It also happens to me with CEO, and also using more tools, more online tools, meaning more consuming, more energy. But anyway, the 2 tools I have just used to measure my website's carbon footprint are website carbon calculator and EcoGrade, basically. They're both great tools, but they are a bit different. Website carbon is more focused on giving context about the energy you consume with your site by comparing it with non-digital stuff. I know, for example, if your website consume black kilos of CO2, it's like, I don't know, it's the size of a car, for example. I don't remember the examples, but they want you to understand that websites are equal consuming energy to things you can physically touch for giving you context. EcoGrader, however, it's more about metrics and about settings that you should improve in order to reduce carbon emissions. And so both are very useful, but I think it's quite more important to have context about sustainability. Sustainability is a way of doing things and understanding how things work. It's not just about metrics. If we focus just in metrics and numbers, so yeah, I think the approach of website carbon calculator is more important because giving context is important. And I think we have to understand that we just can't fix everything with technology and tools. So when you use tools for measure your carbon footprint, take that into account. It's not just about minimizing code, about optimizing images. It's more about the decisions you make about your website. So if you use these tools, just keep this in mind. But anyway, this is how the two tools I use for it.
That sounds great, Nora. Okay, meanwhile, I just wanted to say that one of our guest speakers came up, Marketa Benisek, a digital sustainability lead at Whole Grain Digital. Give us a hi.
Hello, everyone. I'm sorry for being
Hi.
a bit late. I struggled to join the event, but yeah, here I am. Thanks for
No
your
worries
patience.
at all. You're doing absolutely great. Now, just a reminder for you, I wanted to again repeat what the question was. The question is, what are some tools that website owners can use to measure their website carbon footprint? Now, you and Ari are supposed to answer. Since you just joined, if you want, you can go ahead and do that.
Thanks. Yeah, so I would obviously recommend our own tool, SiteGround.com, which gives everyone a really nice overview of the estimated carbon footprint of any web page that they test. So it's a really nice simple interface that people can use. It gives you kind of an overview of where the page sits in terms of against all the other pages that we've tested, like millions and millions of pages that we've tested on website carbon over time, and an estimated carbon footprint of that page, assuming that over a year that particular page will receive some obviously amount of traffic, and there's a little plus and minus sign. If people go on websitecarbon.com, there's a little plus and minus sign that they can use to basically just adjust the number of page views that particular page roughly receives on a monthly basis, and that can give you a really good estimate of the environmental impact of that particular page. So I really love this tool. I use it on a daily basis, even for our clients. And people can also use the API of Website Carbon if they want to test their client sites or if they want to do any large scale testing. So that's definitely something that we're working on, and we're continuously improving that tool.
Perfect. Yeah, that's something that I'm definitely going to check out as well. Now, our other guest, Ari, we want to hear from you as well. Go ahead, Ari.
It was already mentioned, but the only tool I basically use is websitecarbon.com. It has a really simple API. It's very simple to use. The UI is minimal and a great overview, but I don't really think we need many tools. When someone finds one tool that gets a job done, all you need is just run a test, make improvements to your site, and see if that had an impact. It doesn't matter which tool you use, just use one consistently and make comparisons to see if your changes make sense.
Perfect. Ari just reminded us that simple is best. And with that given said, we want to head over to our new question, which is question number: what are the 3 immediate most impactful actions any website owner can take to reduce their carbon footprint? Whoever wants to start first, go ahead.
I think it's really quite simple. We can narrow it down to 3 very simple steps. The first one is obviously having an understanding of the carbon impact of that particular page or website. So first you need to be able to measure the carbon emissions using some of the tools that we just mentioned. So there's EcoGrader, there's Website Carbon, there's EcoPing. Some of these tools are really, really useful, and you can use one of them to measure carbon emissions of your website or the individual pages, most visited pages, for example, to get a better understanding. Then once you have an understanding of the impact, then you need to work out a way or a roadmap to reduce data transfer. And there are so many things that people can focus on. They can improve search engine optimization, they can improve user experience, not to waste energy and not to waste people's times. They can improve things on the actual website. So optimize images, make them as small as possible. If they have any videos, they should probably rethink whether that video really serves the purpose or whether it can be replaced with something, perhaps some SVG animations instead of a full-on video, and also avoiding anything like autoplay video, and obviously working on the content of the page as well. And the third thing that I would recommend is switching to a green, clean host. So obviously for that, the best place to go and search for a clean and green host is the Green Web Foundation. I highly recommend that. They have a wonderful resource, basically the directory on their website. If you just type in thegreenwebfoundation.org, you'll be able to land on their page. You'll be able to check who is the hosting provider of any web page, and you can also go to the directory and find the green host that's closest to you, and basically stand to save even more energy and to basically support the entire mission to switch the online world to and have it powered by renewable and clean energy. So those are the 3 tips that I would recommend.
Okay, those tips were actually pretty great. Okay, so let's head over to our other guest. Let's do Ari this time. Let's go second, Ari.
Thank you. So the first step for me would be take a good look at the site's design. We need to take a look at our sites and think to ourselves, is this piece really necessary? Do I really need a 2 megabyte image? Personally, I do most of my browsing on my phone, so a super high definition image doesn't really add any value. And we basically just need to focus on the things that make sense for our websites. I don't know if you remember, but a few years ago, a lot of websites had weather widgets on the sidebar, even clothing stores. It was insane. Fortunately, now this is no longer the case, but we still see a lot of waste. Huge images, sliders that don't really have anything to offer. And the less is more rule really has a great impact on sustainability. Next, for second advice, I think this one is one of the most important ones. Robots and crawlers. Unfortunately, most of the traffic a website gets is not really from real visitors, but from crawling bots. So search engines, SEO agencies, all sort of companies just crawl the web constantly. And those are just a large number of page hits that we can simply disable because they don't have anything to offer. We can add a robots.txt file on our website and disable all bots except the search engines that make sense. And third, I would suggest just opening the dev tools in our browser and throttling the speed to 3G or 4G, then see what happens with our site. It's usually a good way to identify trouble areas. We can see, for example, that the text of a t-shirt loads fast, but the image on our header has a problem. And once we identify that problem, we can start fixing it, because things that load slow are what have a big problem for sustainability. That's it from me.
And there you are, folks. 3 things that Ari just mentioned are amazing. Now, we want to head over to Nora. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. In fact, my 3 tips are very related for something Ari and Marketa had said about thinking what you really need to put in the website and to choose features and don't share too much the website. And in my case, there are 3 things very specific, and I bring them from a quite personal point of view, where it might be useful for everybody or for some people. The first one, Marketa has already told about it, is just avoid autoplay. I don't know any user that enjoys autoplay videos, really, especially when you open a website and you get distracted for a moment and then a random loud music or voice come from nowhere and freak you out. There's not so many cases that you need to autoplay videos. Just let the user decide if they want to watch your content and don't force them. The second action could be reduce the number of self-portraits. I know it's super specific, but it's really common to put a lot of self-portraits in your website. I can assure you as a designer that having, 10 photographies of you and your aesthetic setup will not meaningfully increase the engagement website. And I don't mean you have to replace these portraits for another picture. I mean, just reduce the number of necessary images you use in your website. And the last one action I want to talk about it's a little maybe can be controversial for some professionals, but pop-ups are also annoying as autoplay videos. I don't mean are you sure you want to do these pop-ups? Oh, you know what kind of pop-up I'm referring to. Finally, we create our website to achieve an objective, usually users to buy something or to subscribe or to contact us. And for sure, it's not as usual as we think to put all of these things in the website. It may seem something an approach very personal for me, and it is, but I wanted to point out in a somehow fun way some examples of features we commonly use, we love to use for some reason, but they are very difficult to apply in a useful way. Even for designers, it is not easy to manage this kind of feature. If you don't use them weekly, they easily bring more issues than benefits, including issues, performance issues, and waste of energy, accessibility issues. So I recommend you keep your features as simple as possible and use them just when you are sure they are going to be effective. So that's it for my part about the 3 actions.
Thank you, Nora. Yeah, I absolutely agree as well. This is something I've discussed with my clients as well. Now, moving on to the next question. What is the role of web hosting providers in reducing carbon emissions? And hold on. As a website hosting provider representative myself, I can start with what we at SiteGround are doing. We're using renewable energy for our data centers. We're optimizing resources for clients' websites, and we're operating with environment in mind on a daily basis. But surely there is more that could be done. What are your thoughts? Let's start with Ari this time.
I think that hosting providers are a bit misunderstood. There is a lot of blame on hosting providers regarding greenhouse emissions. However, what most people fail to understand is that a hosting provider is just a business, and the biggest cost of that business is the electricity bill. So it's only natural that they do everything they can to lower that cost. And ways to do that is usually by investing in solar and wind so that they don't actually have to pay those bills, or they can update their machines to more energy efficient ones. Being environmentally sustainable is not a luxury for these businesses. It's a necessity to ensure that they are sustainable as businesses. They cannot afford to devour energy like hungry hippos, and we've seen a shift in the past few years. Most of them realize that. Not to mention that it's also a big selling point for many of them. It's good press. So hosting providers are turning green. The most important issue is the websites themselves. That's what we need to improve. The only thing that hosting providers can do to improve the web more is just partner with other companies like Cloudflare, for example, or educate their users. Education can go a long way.
Okay, thank you for that answer, Ari. Okay, look, let's go with Nora this time.
Thank you. I agree with Ari. I think we kind of, we take the hosting, like, okay, if my hosting is green, I get everything done, or the most of thing done, and the problem are the websites. But I wanted also to point something out. I mean, the obvious response is talking about renewable energy and optimization service and so. But hosting providers are also companies, and they have to reduce carbon emissions and support sustainability, not just in the services they offer or educating clients, as Ari just said. I think it's also about how we do it from the inside out. Hosting, as any other company that shows themselves worried about sustainability, they have also to carry it out internally. I mean, it's something obvious, but if you want to make things in a sustainable way, you have to make things in a sustainable way everywhere, not just in public, not just making green hosting, but making green things in your own company. So, as I have already said, metrics are important. Saying you don't consume or you compensate your carbon footprint or whatever, it's okay, it's important, but I think approaches are also important, or even more.
Okay, that was a nice input from Nora. Now let's head over to Marketa. Let us know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I think you pretty much said. I definitely agree on the importance of education. So I was just going to say that there's little that I can add. I definitely agree with that. Education is definitely a big thing that hosting providers can help with. They can have a very large role to play in the importance of making their sites more efficient and more sustainable. And the second thing is obviously just improving things as a business. As Nora said, it's definitely important to take into consideration that web hosting providers are also businesses, and they have a very important role in terms of making sure that the energy that they use to power the system and also to keep it cool in terms of like AC and stuff is good enough and is sustainable. And I'm sure that there are many innovative solutions that are available to host. So yeah, whatever you guys are doing, that's a really, really great start, and I'm grateful that you're hosting this event.
Okay, so we actually all agree that hosting providers are actually doing a great job so far, which I'd like to thank you for. Now, let's head over to question number 5. What are your top tips to optimize your site speed and size to reduce carbon footprint? We're going to start with Nora this time.
Okay. Yeah, all the tips I can give about speed and size are quite the same. I have already did. I mean, as a designer, I have my powering website and building websites from the part design, the elements or the features you put on there. So the best tip I can give to all of you is just keep it simple as possible. I mean, you have an objective. I suppose you have to have an objective with your website. So I mean, while you are approaching this objective, keep things as simple as possible, and think twice before putting elements in your website. And if you are not sure if something you want to put in your website goes wrong for the speed and size, just ask your developers about what is more optimal, or for options or alternative for finding an optimal way for creating or building what you want to do in your website. If you have any doubt, and so keep it simple and think twice.
Okay, simple is best, says Nora. Yeah, I'd love to hear what Marketa has to say about this then.
So I think, I always say at Whole Grain, digital sustainable web design is not complicated, but it just requires detail. So I think it really comes down to understanding what are the elements that are causing the web pages, the individual web pages and the website to be larger than necessary, and investigating what can be done. Most of the websites are just using either very large kind of stock images or videos that are really, really large in size, very data heavy. So it's about really what should be included on the site, and even like including images, can be reduced the sizes. Can be, for example, if we have some of those, I've seen this thousands of times. If we have, for example, thumbnail images on the website for team on the team page or something, those images, even though they appear really, really small on the side, they can sometimes be loaded like full size, like 1-2 megabytes. And that's just, again, it comes down to and by reducing the size of those images, we can also significantly improve the site, the speed of that page, and also the sustainability of those particular pages. That's the best thing that we can do here.
Perfect. Well, Ari, what do you have to say about this?
I completely with both Marketa and Nora. I think the main problem is just the mentality of site owners. We want our sites to have everything. If I'm selling t-shirts, I want my product pages to have 10 images, a video presentation, and a slider at the top with related products, and all that other stuff that are not really necessary in order for me to sell the actual t-shirt. I mean, if I want to show a presentation of the product, I don't really need to embed the video. I could just link to YouTube. And if someone wants to see it, they can go there and watch it. It's simple things, identifying what my message is and focus on that. Get rid of all the things that are not related to what I actually want to do. Everything else is just extra noise, which it just piles up. It's incredible how much data we load. It's just loading one simple page can have 1 megabyte of CSS, 2 megabytes of JavaScript, and 10 megabytes of images. That's not an exaggeration. It's pretty common. So just get rid of the things that are not necessary in order to convey your message. That is my top tip.
Our guest speakers are making a very good point. And to add a bit from my point of view, optimization has never been easier than right now. You can optimize images using WebP formatting compression. You can use lazy load media. You can enable preload fonts. You can minify CSS, JS, HTML. And to all of our listeners out there, we have the perfect tool for you called the Sitemizer plugin for WordPress. Free and available on all hosting providers. Check out our profile. We'll make sure to tweet it out. With that, we want to head over to our sixth question. How can you optimize your site's data transfer to reduce carbon footprint? And we're going to start with Ari.
Thank you. So we're talking about data transfer here. So the most important thing I have to say here is use a service like Cloudflare. If you're not already using it, you will be surprised at how much impact that can have. Other than that, cache your pages, use optimizations. Most hosting providers have services like that, optimization, caching, and a CDN like Cloudflare. I'm sure there are other services out there. I was just too lazy to look them.
Great stuff, Ari. Yes, there are other services out there, and I can definitely rent one. It's called the SiteGround CDN. Amazing little thing. So we're gonna head over with Marketa. Let us know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I fully agree with what Ari said in commenting on the previous question. I think that every of our audience, they kind of are beginning, and therefore they're experiencing some sort of FOMO, and therefore they're just like checking everything on the website that some people might find useful. And I think this is not the best approach. It's really important to just take a few steps back and think about what might be most useful to our users, and having an understanding of who our users are in the first place. I think that's really key. And it's just not going to pay off just checking everything on the website and making it really confusing for people to find what they're looking for. So I'd keep it simple, I'd keep it minimal, and I'd keep it really, really clear. And just in terms of like optimization or reduction of carbon footprint data transfer, we have to realize that everything that we put on the website is data. So colors of the images. So obviously, if you include high-res images, then every single pixel is a piece of data that people will have to download from the website. This is how to think about it. Every single element on the site is data. And so if we keep it minimal, if we reduce the amount of things that we chuck on those pages, then that can really significantly reduce the overall size of the website, and therefore the data transfer, and therefore even the carbon of that site.
Thank you so much. Your answer actually got me thinking for sure. Nora, let us know what your thoughts are.
Yeah, I don't want to sound repetitive because I just wanted to say exactly the same Marketa has just said because it's quite the point. And when Ari says also the thing is the problem is how we understand website about data transfer is not my area of working because I'm a designer. But if you want to optimize your data transfer, the best way to optimize it is having less data to transfer, just as Marketa has explained. And I want to put it in another way that you keep it simple. If you begin with less, with just you need, and then grow up if you need it, for real, is much more easy for I know for get to improve. I mean, if you have less things, if you want to improve them or change them because something is much easier than creating a super big website because, as Marketa said, because FOMO, because I want to put it all, because this way maybe a user, I don't know, maybe I'm getting to all the user I can. It's really difficult to optimize a website once you have a super big website. Keep it simple, let step by step, make just the simplest thing you need, and then grow up. You can grow up, but you have to think what you really need and to understand that things will be more easy, will be easier and cheaper maybe if you go step by step. That if you have because a big website with a lot of things usually means a lot of problems, a lot of hours of a developer trying to fix something that you cannot fix, and it is much better to make things good for the start than trying to fix something that it's already done and is huge. So if you want, to optimize your data transfer, just transfer less data. I think it's the main point.
There you have it, everybody. Less data to transfer and also make sure to compress that data. Look, at SiteGround, we have automated tools to help with just that. We have features and products that you get with your hosting package by default that's going to help with reducing data transfer CO2 footprint. For example, caching by default, SiteGround CDN, my personal favorite, and we have service in various locations close to your main users. Given that said, we want to head over to the new question, number 7. What are some website UX or UI optimizations anyone can do to improve their site sustainability? Let's head over to Marketa this time.
Yeah, I think it's important to just really have an understanding of how our users are interacting with the site. So in that sense, we need to streamline user journeys. And it's really good to just take a few steps back and kind of design the user journey, like the best case scenario user journey. So let's take let's take our site as an example. So for example, if someone lands on a whole homepage, we want to be really clear about our links. We want to be able to understand and communicate really clearly what we can help our clients with and what they can expect. And then obviously in those sort of like sections, right, in terms of, for example, our services or something, we then need to have a look at, okay, so this link leads to that page tells the user how to contact us, things like that. So it's just really about being having a really clear understanding of how the users should interact with our website and to make it clear to them and make it simple to navigate through the website. So that's both related to UX and UI. But I think, and also just going back to even like the previous question, I think simplicity on websites actually signifies a lot of confidence if you think about it. And if you think about, for example, Apple's website, they have actually very little information on their pages, right? But they're really straight to the point. You can tell it's really thinking about what is the information that people are looking for, and that's the only thing that they feature on the individual pages. And I think there's really something to take as an inspiration here. If we are really clear about what our clients might want, let's just focus on that. Let's not overcomplicate it and include too much and basically overwhelm them. We should focus when it comes to designing how we're making our site.
Marketa, you're cutting off a little bit there. Would you be able to repeat the last couple of sentences, I guess?
So hopefully it's going to be okay or better. What was the last thing that you heard?
The microphone cut off a little bit. So you were just about saying that you had, just after Apple, how their website design was really, basic and all that good stuff, and then you start cutting off a little bit.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So I was just saying that we should probably just take Apple or similar pages as an example. I think that simplicity just really kind of signifies confidence when it comes to our offering. So if we are really clear about our offering and who our audiences are, then we can design the websites accordingly, and we can just simplify the entire user experience and making sure that people find it almost like calming and nice and easy to navigate when they visit our website, and then they can find what they're looking for.
Thank you. I actually do agree with all of what you just said. Now, I want to head over to Nora and ask her what her thoughts are on this.
Okay, that's, in fact, it's my area. I like so much the example that has that as bring with Apple, because many clients ask me to make something like Apple, but then they want to say too many things and have too many content. It's just impossible to make something that looks like Apple website, but also put in 50 things you want to say. You have to say just one thing. Focus for real is one of the best ways to achieve the objective you have for the users. I mean, if you want users to, I don't know, subscribe to your newsletter, you have to really about each thing you really need to do, so users click the subscribe button. They don't need to explain all your life in about page. Or as I have said, you don't need 10 photographies of you with your dog or your house. You need to focus. If you have focus, you reduce things. You keep it simple, as we have already said. I know it sounds really repetitive, but it's the thing to make things simple, because for users it's more easier to understand what you are offering and what do you want for them. If you say just one thing, that if you say five things and they have to choose the one and they get confused. So for me, I want to have a more sustainable website. You have to plan before executing. And it sounds really old too, but I know that playing design is the fun part of building a website. If you are not, I mean, if you are creating a web by your own and you want to, I don't know, enter to the blog part and choose typographies and choose colors, and this is the fun about making website. But if you don't have a plan before, you know exactly one thing, the main objective you have with your website. First of all, it's difficult for the user to make it, because he or she gets confused. But it's more difficult to make a sustainable and more open website if you don't think before creating things. So for me, again, what you have to do about UX UI for optimize your website is thinking in the website as a whole thing, not by a specific. You're not thinking, I want to have, I don't know, a slider. I want to put a video because videos are super important. I don't know. You have to think about the website as a project with a main object. The pages have the main objective. So work on them, thinking as a little, each page or each section is a little part of something bigger, and everything has to work together for the same objective. And yeah, have clear your objective, decide the simplest way to achieve them, and begin basic and then improve. Remember to keep simple, to think what the user want. And a great exercise to keep simple is to think about you, how as a user, when you are a user, you don't want things to be complicated. You want to spend the first time where people or what the websites are selling to you. So think this way. Think as you navigate for website and apply this to your own. And again, think twice before getting into the blogs.
Got it. And just to confirm, Nora is a UI UX expert, so I'm definitely taking notes from her. Now, I want to hear Ari's answer as well. Go ahead.
The main issue I have seen is we are greedy. We are greedy and we are lazy. We want everything and we want it done fast. So we resort to solutions like sliders. I honestly just hate sliders. I think they are evil. Uh, I think we should
Just
just,
wanna say, me too, as a designer, I hate the slider too.
yeah. So I think we should just take a more minimalistic approach. Sites that are minimal, they load faster, and in general, they are more engaging. I mean, I will not hesitate to check out your other pages if they take milliseconds to load, but I will not bother visiting your site again if it takes me a minute. So just get rid of all the fancy stuff that you like and have seen in other sites and think to yourself, oh, I want that. It's pretty. No, it's not pretty. It's noisy. Just get rid of all the noise. Focus on your message. But that is the most important issue. Most people have not even identified their own message. So we need to just take a step back and focus.
Ari. Well, the reason why I hate sliders is because they're really hard to fix. But now I wanted to ask Marketa what her thoughts on this are. What are some website UX UI optimizations anyone can do to improve their site sustainability?
Yeah, I was already trying to answer this question before, but I'm not sure if you could hear me, so probably not. I think that it's just about simplifying the entire user experience, streamlining user journeys, having an understanding of what we can do and how we can serve our customers best, making it simple and easy to navigate the site. Those are the main things that people should focus on. And as Ari mentioned, lots of people are not really clear on the message that they're trying to present to their audiences or who their audiences are. So I think that we just need to do a bit of homework before actually designing the site, because that's kind of the main piece of our business, so to speak.
Perfect. Okay. And everybody, we have the last question coming up. Are there SEO practices we should avoid or adapt that impact our carbon emissions? We're going to go with Ari.
Thank you. So SEO definitely plays a huge role in sustainability. So we just need to start thinking what would be the user journey. I mean, most of us just go in a search engine, whether that's Google, DuckDuckGo, or whatever we use. We search for something and we land on a website. If it's the wrong website, we try again with the next one and then the next one. So we need to be concise with what we say, what our message is. The clearer the clearer our text is, the more related users we will get. I mean, if I do some keyword stuffing, then all sorts of irrelevant people will land on my website, and none of them will stay. No matter what I want to hope, none of them will, because they're not. My website is not what they're looking for. So yeah, that would be my best advice. Just think like a user and don't be greedy again. Try to get the right kind of visitors instead of just playing the numbers game with your visits. That's all.
Think like a user. Really nice and put, Ari. Now, Marketa, give us your answer.
Yeah, I fully agree with Ari here. I think that we need to have a really good understanding of the language that our audiences are using to kind of search for the type of services or products that we offer on our website. So having that understanding and basically asking ourselves, okay, so if I was one of my ideal customers, what would I ask the internet to present what I am offering, right? So it's just really coming back to the questions. And once you have those questions in mind, then you really need to basically answer them on your website. And I think SEO is very much connected to accessibility as well. If we make our websites accessible, which I think is strongly connected to digital sustainability as well, then lots of accessibility readers are actually very good from sort of like crawlers and search engine optimization, so to speak. So if our websites are accessible, chances are that they will also be fairly high in terms of search engine optimization. So I think that those are key benefits. There are definitely key benefits in making the site sustainable, accessible, and therefore even search engine optimized.
I honestly can't agree more. I was recently working for SEO job that I was working on, and yeah, accessibility is key here. Now, this is our last guest is going to be Nora. This is the last question. Go ahead, Nora. Finish us off. Let us know what's going on.
Yeah, I want here to put a disclaimer. And I am a CEO. I'm not an expert in this area. I just my point is from how I see how SEO affects my work as a designer. And the most common problem I have encountered implementing SEO measures in my work is sometimes we understand SEO like it's some kind of seeder machine. We spread the seed, we create pages, a lot of pages. So in case a user finds one and go to our website, it's again about focusing the thing. I don't know. I think again we have to focus and don't get obsessed with numbers. I have said before. Sometimes we see we begin to work for machines, thinking how machines understand our website, how to satisfy a machine, and where we are supposed to work for people, for users, for give users things they need, or yeah, mainly. So I think that the tip or the thing I want to say to people is please don't work for machines or just for machines. I know SEO is important. We need to get found for selling or for achieving our objective, but we are working for people, for humans. So keep your websites ready for humans, for helping humans, for giving humans services, products, and don't miss the point. Working just for machines, as Ari just said before, we have sometimes we work for the CEO machines, for CEO machines and robots visiting our website, and we're creating this kind of wheel of working for robots. And I think it's not, I don't want to say like, but I want to say it's not logical. So keep things human is my approach about the CEO practices. I think it is important. We need CEO, but we need to keep the thing human.
Thank you so much, Nora. And with that, we've answered all the questions. It's time to wrap up our web sustainability chat. Thanks to our guests and everyone who tuned in. We hope this was helpful. Our recording will be available on Twitter and YouTube, and we'll also be summarizing the answers in a blog post. So make sure you follow SiteGround on social media so you don't miss out. Thank you all, and hope you have a great day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.